And get started, I'd like to welcome a staple to the interview room here at the John Deere Classic, Zach Johnson. Zach, thanks for joining us. Had Claire in a few minutes ago. Certainly going to want to get your thoughts on all he has done, but was looking and see that this marks your 20th consecutive start at the John Deere Classic. Past winner, 3 runner-ups, and if I did my math right, you have posted rounds of par or better in 63 of 70 rounds, totaling 210 under par in your career at the John Deere Classic. Uh-oh.
No, I got a question.
Okay.
It's not a statement. When was the last time I shot over par in 18 holes? Is that still going? Yes.
The last time you shot over par?
Yeah, never mind.
I think it was round 2 of last year. Is that right?
I shot over par last year?
I'll go check.
I think I had an even par last year.
Oh,
I think it's been a long time.
I'm selling you short.
That's okay. I am short.
Well, with all that said, point being, you have a wonderful history here at the John...
2019? Dadgummit. All right. All right. Shoot. All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a wonderful history here at the John Deere Classic. Obviously, one that means a lot to you, as does many people. So, with that, just some thoughts on being back here.
Yeah. I love coming back. I mean, every time I'm able to get to this area to go work is special. I mean, I feel like I'm able to wear a number of different hats this week. Clearly, one is representing Eastern Iowa, which I adore, and then I think you couple that with the hat of representing this great company in John Deere is very special. And then in that same vein, I piggyback it off. I certainly represent this tournament, so that has given me so much. I mean, I think they gave me 2. It may have been 3 sponsor exemptions. I think it's 2. I'd have to really think about it. But when I didn't have status, so you know, I the experience that I was able to get from those 2 starts, even though I didn't particularly play that well, was huge. As a young pro, as a young guy trying to find his way on tour, or any tour for that matter, and I love coming back. It is just a special week, and I know my family would say the same thing.
And I know you'll get asked about it, but obviously a milestone coming to an end of sorts with Claire, his final year as tournament director. Just a thought or two. I know you could probably go on all day like the rest of us in here, but just some thoughts on Claire.
Well, I mean, it's obviously going to get a lot better from here on out, right? I mean, he's passing off the torch to Andrew, which Andrew will do great. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, Claire's one of my dear friends, and I'm happy for him, number one. He's put a lot of, well, as the T-shirts say around here, a lot of grunt work into this tournament, and put his you know, last 20-some years, right? Now, how many, is it 20 years? 20 years, yeah. 19 tournaments, technically, but into this community. Every time I talk to him, when it comes this week, it's all, you know, it seems the topic of giving away all those monies to local organizations comes up, and that's what it's about. John Deere obviously gets that, and they had Claire lead them in that, and I think that's more than special. There's been times where he's told me, yeah, we dropped some chicks off today, drop some more off tomorrow. I mean, it's, and I've read some articles. I mean, some of those monies that are raised this week, I mean, really support these organizations more than we know. I mean, probably some to the fullest. So that's why we do what we do. That's the beauty of the PGA Tour, right? I mean, there's no other entity like us in sports. Every week is special to that venue, to that community, to that area, and Claire Peterson is very special to the Quad Cities, and he's not going away. I'm not going to say goodbye. It's just, you know, it's a new chapter. So congratulations and thank you, I think, are in order.
Perfect. Okay, well, with that, we'll take questions. Start with Craig.
This is kind of a follow-up on that, Zach. Can you talk about the respect that Claire engenders out on tour?
Sure.
That's probably beyond the level of respect that you know, a lot of players don't think about the John Deere Classic, but they do know Claire and they do respect him, right?
1,000%. I mean, it's almost rhetorical in the sense that, yeah, when it comes to tournament directors and you see a gentleman wearing either a white or a green shirt walking around, you know, with the Deere emblem on there, they know that's Claire. They know, I mean, he you know, he's got a lot of work to do here, but he also makes time to go out on the road, whether it's Arizona or Florida or the East Coast. I mean, he works his way around and promotes this event and promotes this community. So, you know, I don't like speaking in hypotheticals and speaking for somebody else, but I do know when it comes to my peers, they're like, man, I wish I could play this year because I love Claire. And just the opposite too, or it's not the judge, but on the same line, yeah, I'm going to come this year because Claire keeps getting on me. I mean, it kind of goes both ways, you know. So there's just distinct respect, and when you have somebody that's passionate about what he does or she does, it's, you know, it's attractive, and Claire's always had that. He's always represented, I'd say, his role in the highest of integrity and character ways, and we see that. So. You know, we're spoiled too. We got other great tournaments. This one is just a little bit different, I think. I mean, I'm biased, but it's, you know, it starts with the people.
Just one more. I read in a book somewhere that you made a comment about the relationship, Claire's history with John Deere, and the symbiosis, the way that he was able to, how that model works uniquely for this tournament.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I understand
the
what you're
unique
referring
relationship between Claire's history with John Deere as having come from John Deere.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't clear.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it is. I think it's unique. I guess I don't know the ins and outs of the constructs of other tours entirely, or other events entirely. But this one's unique. You know, when you have somebody that actually understands and knows the title sponsor intimately and knows what they're all about and what the company's all about and how they go about their work, and, you know, has been given the reins on something that really, I'd say, magnifies or manifests what that company is all about. It's unique, and I don't know if we have any. I mean, how many events do we have on tour where, you know, I mean, I guess from 2 Green you can walk to the headquarters, right, of your title sponsor, and I mean, there's actual true ownership there. There's actual, you know, just a unique sense of, you know, title sponsor community. I mean, I don't know how else to phrase it. It's just a unique week, and the players know that. The wives know that. The families know that. We know that, and that won't stop. You know, I mean, Claire's laid the template down, and it's just a matter of handing it off to the next individual, which fortunately is Andrew. So,
hi, Zach.
Hey, Mike.
Congrats on the Ryder Cup
Thank you, sir.
thing.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you about that. I'll try and get as much of this question in one take as I can. Do you have any idea how you're going to be able to make captain's picks and who will be eligible and who won't with this LIV thing?
Right.
What do you think of this LIV thing? And do you think it affects the John Deere Classic at all?
Well, okay, let's start with the first one. The first one was my picks.
Yeah.
So what I know is this. In order to play on the Ryder Cup team, whether you're top 6 or a pick, you must garner Ryder Cup points to the PGA of America. In order to garner Ryder Cup points to the PGA of America, you have to be a member of the PGA of America. The way that we're members of the PGA of America is through the PGA Tour. I'll let you connect the dots from there. So, what was the second part of the question?
What do you think of this LIV tour and the people that have gone to it?
Well, I mean, where do you go on this one? First and foremost, I mean, I've got some friends that have decided to go that route. A lot of individuals that I'm for. I mean, these are my friends. I mean, I'm for them. I want them to do well. I want them to, find contentment or happiness in whatever it may be. It's not me to say how that develops or how they find that. I will say I have the utmost respect for them individually. I would hope, and I'm not concerned about this, that they would have the respect for me and who I stand for and what I stand for. And I don't think it's very secretive or I'm outlandish in saying that I'm for the PGA Tour. I'm for the individuals that paved the way for me in this great tour, this way of this platform in order to entertain, compete, and I would say utilize for the betterment of others, not just my family. I'm for that. I'm for, how many weeks are we on the tour, Doug?
7.
Okay. There's some overlapping tournaments there,
Yeah.
but 40 plus weeks a year, I'm for those venues. I'm for those cities that pour in basically 358 days a year for that 1 week. I'm for them because these tournaments do so much to the communities we stop. And it may be 7 days to us, but it's not. It's a full year. And that's the beauty of the PGA Tour. So I am for the PGA Tour. I am for the growth of the game through the PGA Tour.
Just a quick follow. Do you think it affects this tournament at all? And
that's
secondly, I've heard a lot of. I mean, I've heard Justin Thomas and John Rahm, et cetera, what you just said, but I haven't heard PGA Tour players condemn people going to the LIV because of who sponsors and pays for that. I was wondering if you had any public feelings about that too.
Do I think it affects this tournament? I think it's so raw and so new. It's hard for me to. It's hard for anybody to say that it's going to have a massive impact here or there. My hope is that it does not, and my ever optimist brain of mine says it will not because of what's already established here. And I think players are starting to see that, you know what, it's pretty darn good where we are right here. We're starting to see some young guys even come out and say, they aren't even on the PGA Tour, and say, you know what, I had a dream of playing on the PGA Tour, and that's the route I'm going to go. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm encouraged by our leadership of the PGA Tour and how they're continually sticking to their guns, knowing that the product we have, the people we have, because we are the product, obviously, it's our tour, are really good. And not only will sustain, but will continue to grow. So I'm encouraged. Was that it? Was that it? Forgive me.
Oh, I asked about.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard any fodder in that regard. I don't. It's not fair for me to make a judgment call on that. I don't know everybody's situation, so it's not fair for me to know why they do or do not go.
Zach, this kind of piggybacks off that a little bit. You kind of answered it, but you might not remember this, but when the tournament was canceled a few years ago because of the pandemic, we got to do a Zoom kind of talking about the 50-year celebration. I don't know if you remember doing that.
I do.
We talked about the future of the John Deere Classic, and obviously everything was exciting and bright, and I'm not saying it's not, but it seems like golf, that was 2 years ago. It seems like golf in life is changing week by week. So here we sit a couple years later with the Live Tour, with the fact that PGA Tour events are getting more money, getting people here is difficult. What's your thoughts today of where the John Deere Classic is at and where it's moving towards the future?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think the state of the game, and kind of because we were talking about that too, the state of the game is really good right now. I mean, if there's anything that's directly positive since 2020 is the growth of the game. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of COVID, but it got people out. And, I mean, is it cyclical? Perhaps. I mean, will it come back down? Perhaps. But right now it's healthy. And, I mean, I think, we've always been kind of the face of the game, right? And I think the PGA Tour in general, or professional golf in general, and I think the John Deere Classic, I think the potential is still there to grow more. I mean, I really do. And seeing and hearing and listening, and obviously some of it's been given to the public about where we're going as a tour, I'm encouraged. I mean, I really, really am. I'm not just trying to be PC. I think it's special. New date this year for this tournament, which in time could be a benefit. I think it's just how we navigate that, how John Deere navigates that. Certainly Andrew and his staff navigates that. But I mean, I think when things start to settle down, I think the PGA Tour is going to be stronger. I'm not suggesting it's perfect. I mean, shoot, it's not. I mean, it's the PGA Tour are the players, and we're a bunch of imperfect people that look pretty good at playing golf. So it can get better, and we will get better. I mean, I've heard, man, that's too reactionary. They're this. Well, a lot of the things that have happened in the last week have been in the process for years. I get that, but when you have threats, you have to have some sort of reaction too. So it's both sides of that. But I love what Jay's done. I love what our board's done. I've sat in that seat as a player director, and that's a lot of work. I had 3 meetings a year. I think they're having 3 meetings a week almost now. So a little bit. I think I was around the inception of the FedEx Cup. That dates me, but when I sat on it. But I'm grateful for those guys that are really putting a lot of work in right now, and I think every event will grow, and we're seeing that, and the projections are that growth.
About yourself coming into this week, and we talked about how you've done all right here. It's done pretty good. Where's your game at? I talked to you, I think, yesterday on the range, and game feels good, and then you knocked on your head a little bit.
Well, I mean,
where are you at heading into this week?
I saw you yesterday, and I was really encouraged by what happened on Saturday and Sunday, even though I didn't make the weekend last week in Hartford. I had 2 weeks? 3 weeks. I had 3 weeks off going into Hartford. I played a lot, and that was what I was told to do. That was my recipe, and played really good. And so I kind of came into Hartford thinking, you know what, I'm just going to put away everything and I'm going to play. No mechanical thoughts, really no swing thoughts whatsoever. And I've really never done that. I've always had a couple keys, and I didn't have anything. And man, my scorecard was indicative of someone that had nothing, because it was awful. I played so bad, and I actually putted okay, which was, oh man, that's how bad I played. And my point is, in those 3 weeks, I didn't think fundamentals. I just played, and I got off. And once I got into a little bit more wind than what I was playing in, it kind of grabbed me and showed me what golf's all about. But we had some good sessions Saturday, had a really good session Sunday, and then another good one yesterday with my coach. So, if sometimes it feels like it's miles apart, but it's really about that far away. And I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't know what's going to happen this week. I just know that from this point on, we've made some decisions as a team that are. It's not revolutionary. It's just commitment on what to do and what not to do, and I love the direction. So I'm very encouraged. Typically, in years past, I'm kind of be able to figure things out on my own a little bit more. So, I don't know. I asked this question to my coach, Mike Bender, yesterday. I'm like, maybe I'm just getting to the point with my feels as at 46 that I just can't. 46, that I just can't feel like I used to. I mean, I don't know, but the hunger's there. The mentality of wanting to compete and fight and claw is still there. Whether it's to make the cut or win, I still really relish those opportunities.
The last one, I promise, from me.
No, good.
10 years ago, you won here. Does it feel like 10 years ago?
Some regards it feels like one. Some regards it
And
feels
would
like
it be
20.
pretty cool to maybe go 2012, 2022?
It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. 2 different decades would be amazing. I'd love for my kids to see me win again. Fortunately, they were all around when I won my last event, but they weren't there. So, or my last maybe 2 or 3 events. Irrelevant. I don't know if my daughter remembers anything. So, right now it's, I come home and my son's like, yeah, I got another trophy. Where's yours? That kind of thing. So, he gets his, whatever you want to call it, smart whatever from his dad. So touche. I deserve it.
It's optimism.
That's right. Something like that.
TJ.
Zach, you kind of touched on it a little bit with the state of this tournament. A lot of people are looking at the field this week, seeing no top 50 players here. This tournament has been through tough dates before the British, after the British. Now it seems like even 2 weeks ahead of the British with the Scottish next week has proved to be a tough landing spot for this tournament. What do you tell the fans about the field to keep them
Sure.
excited about this tournament? And what can be done in the future to maybe draw some higher ranked players here to the Quad Cities?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors there. I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine not too long ago, and like, hey, the cliche question is, hey, what you got coming up? Where are you playing? What's going on? How's the family? Yada yada. That kind of stuff. And a couple of them were like, well, I'm playing anything and everything I can get into. And then the other ones were like, well, I think I need to keep playing, but I got to take a week off. I mean, it's just hard. Every week's so good that you got to take time off, one. And then two, this time of year, a lot of guys, especially the ones that can knock on the door in a major championship, are planning their schedule around a major championship. That's just what happens. Obviously, I've shown that you can play here and still win. I get that. And maybe even a couple other guys have shown you can have success playing here. And I think that's noted. But, scheduling weeks off, depending upon your situation, because everybody's different, married, kids, or none of the above, or all of the above. Scheduling off weeks sometimes is just as, if not more important than scheduling your on weeks and rest, especially in the summer. So there's a lot on the horizon with obviously the Open, and then you throw in the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then the President's Cup, and that sort of thing. So there's still a lot out there. The individuals we're talking about, I'm not saying they won't ever come here, but time off is needed, and that's the simple way of putting that. Now, I think you're going to get some guys here every now and again come back here or showcase or actually appear and play. What would I say to the fans is the next guys that are playing on some of these cup teams are probably in the field right now. That's what I would say. Whether they're young pros or even some veteran guys that have been there before. I think we'll see some guys surface and make headlines in major championships and on teams. It just happens. I think if you were to ask the golfing public out there that is somewhat golf literate, 2.5 years ago, did they really know who Scotty Scheffler was? We picked him at the Ryder Cup last year. He, for all intents and purposes, might have been our 12th pick, or 6th pick, but 12th man. I don't think we have to question who he is now. So that would be my response. There's a number of Scotty Schefflers out there, and my guess is there could be a few in the field.
Going back to a question about Claire, you've got a unique perspective with him. You've seen how he handles and how he represents the John Deere Classic. Give us some insight as to what he does differently than other tour directors that has elevated his status.
Sure. Well, I don't work intimately with other tournament directors, so it's maybe not fair for me to actually, sit here and critique the others. But what I can say is Claire is passionate, has been passionate about his work. He is passionate about why he does his work. Maybe it's a poor analogy, but I don't necessarily feel like I ever really have had a true job, since I graduated from college. And when you're around Claire, it doesn't seem like a job to him too. He loves, it's a labor of love, and that's kind of how I would equate what I do too. I thoroughly enjoy practicing. My body doesn't, but I enjoy it. And seeing Claire out there on the road, or whether it's on a Zoom call or a conference call or whatever, there's not a stone that he doesn't turn over to see if we can make it better, to make it more efficient, more effective, or just better. And you can see that with the people he surrounds himself with, and how he goes about his day-to-day operations. So I'm going to assume it's a unique leadership role he's taken over, and taken to the next level. But again, it's not fair for me to say relative to other tournaments. I mean, they're all good tournaments, and we got great tournament directors. But I'm partial to this one, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I've been honored. It's an honor for me to be, have more than just a player in the field to be associated. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Realizing Ryder Cup is more than a year away, how much does it pervade your thoughts? Mm-hmm. And what do you anticipate the next year being like for yourself? It
enters my thoughts a little bit. Honestly, probably as of late, the last so many odd months. Right now there's not a whole lot I'm doing. There's emails and mundane things that I'm kind of checking the box. My wife might be more busy than I am. Right now, my focus is helping Davis and Charlotte. If you really want to get down to it, I think we've got good synergy now, year to year, from cup to cup, and we've got a guy that's sat in my seat twice as our leader for Charlotte and Davis Love. So that's where my emphasis is now. Once October hits, I'm heading over to Italy in early October. It's the 1 year advance, I think they call it. And once that hits and things will start to escalate, pick up, speed up, whatever you want to call it. But I'll be ready. I'll welcome it. I am, not that I didn't know this before, but it's just become so evident, so very obvious. The PGA of America's Ryder Cup team, technically their championship team, starting with Kerry Haig and branching down from there, the individuals that I communicate with on a weekly basis, if you will, are just amazing. They're amazing. They will do anything and everything to try to make my experience as a captain, fantastic. And so far they've succeeded. It's special. But if I have thoughts, Mike, that get in there, it's I try to keep my feet right where they are, but it's hard. It's hard, because it is so special. I've said it, I'll say it again, it's been the best thing that I've ever been associated with inside the ropes. And and I could go on and on as to reasons why. But I'm excited. I'm trying to pump the brakes on that and let things just, I want to stay right where I'm at right now, and then we'll get to that eventually. But next year will be busy, but good busy.
Yeah.
Two-parter, Zach. First, are there different challenges now at age 46 of trying to compete and win out here compared to maybe 4 or 5 years ago? And part two, going back to St. Andrews in a couple weeks, just kind of the memories that kind of flood back for you from that win.
Sure. I think there's differences. I'm still trying to, I learned a lot last week. I'm still learning as I go. I appreciate that, and that's not any different than 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. I think the more emphasis I can put just on my body, the better outcomes I can have. And I give it, I'm doing something every day, and it may be 30 minutes, it may be 2 hours. It just depends. On where I'm at and what I'm doing, but I cannot play golf, practice, or compete without doing something. I just can't. It's not part of it's mental, but most of it's just I can't physically do it without doing something. So the common denominator there from 4 years ago or 10 years ago is that I surround myself with great people, like-minded people that push me, encourage me, frustrate me in a good way, make me uncomfortable in a good way, and as a result, I think I can still compete out here. I mean, there's so many factors involved there, but one thing I have now that I didn't have 4 years ago is 4 more years experience. So, I mean, my finishes haven't shown that, but I'm still encouraged that they will. I mean, I still, call me demented. I don't think it's demented, but I'm the ever optimist. Like I've said, I still feel like some of my best golf's in front of me. I'm not just saying that, but because I really believe it.
And going back to St. Andrews?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, I can't wait. I am so ecstatic about getting back. That's, obviously one of my favorite events. We haven't played there since 15. And I'm actually bringing my coach. He's never been there, which is kind of weird. But, yeah, strange. But it'll be fun. I mean, I'm ready to go compete there too. I mean, I'll be ready. And I didn't get to play last year, so that stunk. So I'm ready to get back.
And we'll finish up with George.
Zach, these have been friendly confines to you, and a year ago, Lucas Glover won for the first time in a decade. Do you have some special feelings coming back here where you've had success, and it's a pleasant distraction? A lot of questions today, not about the TPC at Deere Run, and I'm just curious about your feelings.
Now, man, I have not felt distractions or distracted here in years. I mean, I really haven't. I feel, it's almost like a routine here. I know what I'm going to do when I get here. I've got a good plan of attack. I know what I'm going to do on the golf course. Although there are some changes, some subtle, some not so subtle, which is kind of cool. But, the integrity of the golf course has not wavered. I think DA did a great job in that regard. So, I love this golf course, the canvas. I love the character of it. I love what it demands. This time of year, because of the heat, because of the humidity in some senses at times, today and yesterday were gorgeous. You got to push the accelerator down and make some birdies. I want to say the first year I played here was in the fall, and it was, I think VJ won like at 11 or 12 under. I mean, my point is, this place can have teeth. It's just, we're in the middle of summer when the wind drops a lot and the humidity comes up and the ball goes a lot further, and it becomes a little bit easier, especially with all these guys in the field. So if I got to push the accelerator, I'll do it. I know you got to be somewhat aggressive and make some birdies out here, but that's fine. This place still has teeth.
All right. Well, Zach.
Can I get
Sure.
more, Doug?
Yeah.
You talked about the changes on the course
Yeah.
and what was done with the bunker renovations and those changes.
Yeah.
What is that going to do how does that affect the play?
Well, I haven't seen the back nine. I'm actually going to go play it this afternoon. I think I'm sure the bunkering is altered on the back as well. I know it is. Well, what does it do? It helps the grounds crew a lot because the square footage of bunkers have gone down dramatically, even though there's more bunkers, if that makes sense. There's a lot less sand. Oh, there's only 4? Okay.
Fewer bunkers.
Okay.
But
Less square footage. Yeah. So that's going to help a lot. The sand's fantastic. Like I went in the sand on the front nine a couple days ago and just hit some sand shots, and it was awesome. Like, you can kind of see it. It probably shocks a lot of amateurs when they're watching us on TV. Maybe it's a par 5, maybe it's a par 4, but oftentimes we aim for sand traps, right? Just because we know we can control it if we get it in there around the green. There's certain pin placements here on some of these holes where if you hit it in the bunker, you can get it up and down. You can generate some spin on bent grass, and we'll take advantage of that, especially on par 5s. Now, they're different. I mean, I know what the old ones used to be. I knew the nuances of the old ones. I got to get used to the old ones. I got to get used to the new ones. some of the fall offs are a little bit more extreme, so I would say that's going to be harder. The 8th hole looks awesome from the fairway, especially. There's a little bit of fairway to the left of the bunker, and it looks awesome. I think, yeah, actually, Claire and I were talking about it. I think it's about a year away from looking really pristine. I mean, because it's brand new. I mean, some of the roughs, some of